if we believe that the new scheme is as good as our own local scheme, because our members of parliament are going to be able to go out and argue this is as good as what we've got, we can demonstrate that, or it's going to be better than what we've got, because nobody wants to go down to the lowest common denominator, whether you're an employer or a worker. So it's really tricky. Now, the way forward, of course, is to have both. Have your state-based schemes to deal with the employers and workers who work only within a state or a territory, and have some form of a national-based scheme that deals with employers and workers who work across borders. That's the way forward that I see.
Certainly from ARPA's point of view, a national scheme is certainly a positive, and it's a positive because employers get a consistent approach, that providers get a consistent way of training people, and it also means that a national approach also allows for us to actually examine the hidden cost of workers' compensation, which are those people that end up, we pay for a lot in terms of our premiums, but then we pay again in terms of our social security for people who end up in the Commonwealth system of unemployment.
Great, thank you. So, Robin.
I was just going to add in that quite aside from, in some cases, not being clear what it is we're wishing for, also there's the question of why we're wishing for it, because the motivations here can be quite different. You speak to a lot of self-insurers that operate across multiple jurisdictions, and they'll give you a variety of answers ranging from it's more efficient to deal with a single scheme, which I think on the face of it is not an unreasonable argument, but there are others who simply say we're sick of these state regulators. You know, they discourage self-insurance, they're scared of it, there's a whole lot of reasons. So jumping into a Comcare style of alternative without making any comment on the quality of that scheme is about my enemy's enemy is my friend. And that could probably be the worst of reasons to make the move. So I think there's a lot of cross-current in the debate. I think that we can't get a sensible answer unless we've really addressed these sub-issues. What is it you want? Why do you want it? Because that should then determine what the proper answer is. And of course, there is at least half a dozen different models that people call a national scheme, ranging from a single super insurer with the states removed from the picture, right through to an aligned set of framework laws that each of the states enact, which appears to be the approach favoured by the current federal government.
And Sue, would that latter option perhaps be feasible to get to the destination?
I think that it's incredibly complex, has been my experience. For example, definition of a worker is a classic that we've been struggling with for years here. And, you know, I think everyone would love to see a proposed model and then have a discussion about it, but it's been interesting that a proposed model, we can't even get a proposed definition of a worker often, so it's a really difficult situation.
Who's been driving the debate so far? Who has been saying we need a national workers' comp system? It hasn't been workers, I don't think. The ACTU, as you would have seen over the past couple of years, since the 2004 election, has been running a campaign against work choices, and on a monthly basis we were going back to workers and saying, what are the things that are concerning you at the moment? And let me tell you folks, it's not workers' comp that was the top of the tree. It was all those other things that were going on with work choices. We haven't been saying that a workers' comp system at the national level is something that we need in Australia for workers to be treated equally across the jurisdictions or whatever. But it's something that's happened and something that we want to be involved in and something that we want to say. At the end of the day, when you talk about, there's a speaker yesterday talking about Comcare's not such a bad system, it just needs to be changed to accommodate business. That kind of a comment scares me. I don't exactly know what the comment meant, but my experience is that accommodation for business is a reduction in benefits. So we want to be in at the table saying, if there's a reduction in benefits contemplated to establish a national system, this is what workers are going to say about this stuff.